Right, hello everybody. I would normally stand up, but you know, we're just vibing tonight, so apparently we're not. We're just chilling. We're just chilling tonight, aren't we?
Yeah.
Do you want to do opening or shall I do opening?
Would you like to?
Sure, I'll go for it. Don't act like I can't do it. Right. It's like me going, I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm going to wing it. Yeah. Do you know when your brain just completely deserts you? My brain's just completely deserted me. I was going to do it with Gavin here today. Oh, this is a bad night for me. My brain's. Do you know what? I have an opening prayer in my head, but it's just completely deserted.
All right, sit down.
Do you know what you do? Because my brain's completely deserted me.
Yeah.
I normally close. I close my opening prayer.
I've lost my raffle ticket.
You don't have to get
No,
up.
I've lost my raffle ticket. It's all right.
We'll find it. We'll find it.
It'll appear.
There it goes. We found it. It'll appear.
I can't lose that.
It
may well be.
That's the winning one.
First ticket. All right. Join with me, please.
That's what I was looking for.
Dear Father God, we give thanks for the joining together of this group of amazing people and this congregation, all of whom bring sadness and sorrow and love and joy in the year of 2025. I give thanks for the ability to communicate, the ability to bring comfort to those in need, and we hope bringing comfort to the world, sharing evidence of life continual, not just bringing these two worlds together, but bringing everyone together with the communion of spirit and the ministry of angels. We ask humbly for the love and compassion to walk through life with joy, bringing peace to troubled places, giving a moment of care to all and placing all in your care. We know you have a plan. We do not know what that plan is, but trust in your love and that we are on the right path. We give thanks for the unconditional love and guidance you share with us, sometimes under the guise of a lesson to be learnt, always with love and compassion. We thank you for sharing the wonders of the world with us and keeping us in your heart with grace, humility, and love. Amen.
Thank you. Right, I've got our healing book right here. If you haven't put any names in it, you can do so afterwards. It all goes to the same place. They read it even if it's afterwards. But I'm just going to read out a little prayer and then I'll read out the names. If you could just take a moment just to send some good thoughts and good wishes their way, that'd be lovely. If you've got anyone that needs healing or anyone that's in a bit of a bad place, you can think of them. All works the same way. Great Spirit, once again, we gather in this space of love, light and healing to work in harmony with those in spirit and with us still on the earth plane, to raise energy and send it out as healing to all the places and people in need and to where it will do the most good, as well as those listed below. Darren, Seffi, Michael, Zoe, Rachel and family, Jan, Jess, Dawn, Nikki, Julie, Clive, Sylvia, Craig, Katie, Scott, Sue, Sam, Robert and Maureen. So if you could just take a moment just to picture them in a better situation than they are now. Just picture the people surrounded in love and light and just send all of our good thoughts and wishes their way. Lovely, thank you. I've got just a little story here, just a little tiny thing to read out. And it's just about connections, but also about how I'll let the story speak for itself because I can't think of a good way of actually doing it without being spoilers. As I turned off the vacuum, I suddenly heard a knock at the front door. Who could that be? I wasn't expecting anyone. When I opened the door, I was faced with my ex-husband. Michael, I gaped at him. We'd divorced years before, but not long after the birth of our third son. But while we were both since remarried and had more children, we'd always stayed friends for the kids. Can I come in? He said quietly, not meeting my gaze. I frowned. Michael never turned up unannounced. We only really saw each other at family gatherings. What's wrong? I asked. He looked at me then. There were bags under his eyes and his face was tense. I just need to talk to someone, he said. Better come in then, I replied, leaning into the kitchen and putting on the kettle. Over a cup of tea, Michael told me everything that was on his chest, and by the end he seemed a lot more light-hearted. Thank you, he smiled at me as he left. I didn't hear anything more, but nor the next day, so I assumed it was okay. But early on Saturday morning, I got a call from one of our sons. Dad's had a heart attack, he said. He's died. I felt numb. For days afterwards, I cried and cried. Even though we hadn't been husband and wife in a long time, I still had a deep connection with him. I also couldn't understand it. He looked fit and healthy. Had he knocked on my door to say goodbye? A couple of months after the funeral, I was struggling a lot, and my friend recommended I see a clairvoyant that she knew called Ray. So I decided to make an appointment, though I didn't say who I was or who had recommended her. I just drove to her house and knocked on the door. Hello, I said nervously as I opened the door to reveal a very kind-looking woman. Hi, she smiled. For a few moments, she gazed at me, then she said, Oh, you brought a friend. I stared at her, confused. Come on, Michael, she said, looking over his shoulder. You come in too. Oddly, I didn't feel unnerved by this. I felt at ease. I followed Ray into a warm, brightly lit living room. I'm so sorry about your ex-husband, she said as I sat down on the sofa. To my increased amazement, it seemed that she knew everything. She knew he'd come to see me before his passing and that he died of a heart attack. During the session, we didn't speak to Michael, but the whole time I could sense someone was with us in the room. Before I left, Ray smiled at me and said, He'll always be looking over your shoulder, and I went away feeling a lot lighter. It's just a little story about how the connections that we make in our life, even if we feel like that connection's been severed, it's not always. And it's also just goes to show the power of spirit and the fact that sometimes they do prepare us in ways that we're not expecting for our journeys, and they make sure that we're with the people that we need to be when that time comes. And that's just a little one there. So I'm done. Could I share? I don't know if you want to do an address or just talk about anything or just crack on. It's all good, whatever you want to do.
I'm intrigued by the story and actually something, because there's always a theme, isn't there? And you can be unaware of the theme, but on the night, it all rolls in together. And it was only today that I was actually talking to somebody about this very thing, this synchrodestiny. And I don't know if everyone's heard of Deepak Chopra at all. He writes loads of books. Mostly alternative, but he wrote one called Synchrodestiny. And I actually bought it in Australia, way like in the early 2000s. And when I came over in 2005, I bought it with me and I hadn't read it. And I just had it with me with the intention of reading, as you do. You buy these books and think, yeah, I'm going to read it. And I'd been here a couple of years and there were certain series of events that had happened in my life, and something made me pick up the book. And it explains how everything we think is unplanned, is disorganized, everything we think is random or an accident is not. It's all destiny. It is all pre-planned. And although we have free will to change things as they come along, it is all pre-planned. And he explains it in such a way that it's so easy to understand. And I remember when I'd finished reading the book, thinking about all the events in my life, all the different experiences that I have had in my life, thinking, and of course, at the time, it may have been a huge disaster, or it might have been a momentous occasion, and you react to those events. You don't realize even that reaction that you have is something that you actually carried with you when you were born, that this was an idea that you had of how you want to experience your life here. And I'm also very much aware that there's a waiting list of souls wanting to experience life on earth as a human. So your spirit wants to experience this physicality of life that everyone talks about. Because on other dimensions, you don't get to eat, you don't get to have sex, you don't get to go out and breathe fresh air, you don't get to smell the flowers. You can only do that here. So there's a lot of energies and souls that want to experience that. And I always say to people when I talk about this, like this group here tonight, we're all blessed because we're here. We've beat that waiting line, that queue that's over there waiting to come. We're already here. We're experiencing it. And the object is to embrace it and to live life fearlessly, because that's the object of your life on earth. There are no accidents. It is synchrodestiny. Now, I highly recommend that book, but even aside from that, live life fearlessly. There you go. That's my bit of philosophy for tonight. I can go home now?
Yeah, well, I've got cake. I've got cake.
Oh, okay. And that was a nice cup of tea, so, okay. So, shall I start then? Yeah. All right. Right. So my name is Sherry Wakeman, for those who don't know me, because I don't know everyone. I've been here before, so I'm well happy to be back. And the way I work, well, it changes. I said before about the only constant in life is change, and the way I work changes too. And I've noticed over the last 12 months that sometimes if I come to you and I talk about somebody and you don't recognize them in spirit, look for them around you now, because it's changed to the extent that sometimes I'll get somebody who's actually still here, and that then connects me to somebody who's crossed over. So try not to be tunnel visioned when I come to you with it. My object is to prove without a shadow of a doubt that the person that I have with me is connected to whoever I go to. And I will give you enough evidence that you will know it is somebody that you have known that has passed. Okay? If you say no to me, you don't understand what I'm saying, then I have to go back and ask again, because they never get it wrong, but I might interpret it incorrectly. And that is because they use my memories and my life. So I might have a preordained idea of what's going on, and that's why they use my ideas and life. But it may be slightly different to yours, and especially as I've lived in Australia, I might say something that is more Australian than English, and you might not understand what it is, or. So on that note, the other thing that I've been doing recently is coming up with something that is usually, that is unique and only applicable to one person in this room. And as I was driving down tonight, I was thinking now, okay, what are you going to give me? So the first thing that I was given, and again, as I said, they use my memories and my life, and they showed me this thing that my mum and dad got when they went to Venice or somewhere, and it was like this little weather vane. So it's a plaque that goes on a wall, and it has, I don't know whether it's a boy and a girl, a man and a woman, but the weather vane where they come out depending on the changing weather. Now, somebody here knows what I'm talking about. You do. You have one at home? And is it like oval shaped and right, but not like a cuckoo clock or anything like that? Because when I was going through this, I was thinking, was it like a cuckoo house? All right. Did you? And is a house the same? Oh, now this isn't good. This isn't good. They've given me two people with the same thing. Right. So, okay, is there blue anywhere around, or is there because there's a reference to blue? Is it? What about you? Oh yeah. We like a challenge. Okay, so all right. Now on that note, I've been shown sunflowers. Do you have any idea what a sunflower would indicate? And I'm not sure if it's a sunflower on its own or whether it's the yellow from the sunflower that is significant, but I am getting the sunflower. Do you understand? You don't have them growing in your garden? You don't? Right. And what about you? Right. So, okay. So what's your name? Julie. I'm going to come to you, Julie, but what's your name? Rosemary. You hang on to whatever's being said, because this is what happens. It means it's, partly your message. Well, it's everybody's message, isn't it? Because it's all about love. And so, Julie, who have I got with me for you? You said something about your dad, his favourite, and his passed over, his crossed. Would he have been like 5'10" or 11? Not quite 6 foot, but almost there. And I feel he was a bit sort of stocky. There's a name John that comes with that. Do you understand all of that information? Okay. Great sense of humour, great smile on his face. I can see there's a lot of joy in being here. Now, what does that mean? Now, for me, that means one of two things. There's great joy in him being here because he doesn't come through very often, or he does come through and it's like another time. So I am feeling actually more that he comes through fairly regularly. Am I correct in that? Yeah. So now I also feel that when he was alive, this was not the sort of thing he would be involved in. And I feel that this is part of his joy, because when he was alive, it was all about, it wasn't doom and gloom, but it was like, when you're dead, you're dead. And that's it. There's nothing else. And when he learnt, of course, that there is everything else, so much more. And this is the joy that he's bringing through as well. I almost feel like I have to say to you, he wants to thank you for keep coming, for coming, that he can then keep communicating. Because I don't feel that he communicates with you when you're not at church or service, or like you don't have conversations with him that you feel he answers you. And I feel that he'd really like that. So for now, just keep coming, because if this is the only way he can communicate his love and support for you, which we're getting to now, because obviously there's a reason why you're here, there's a reason why he's here. So I'm just sort of checking out. And, I listen to other mediums to see how they work. We all do. We like to see how the other side works, don't we? And I think, why have they gone quiet? And it's because you're talking, but you're not talking out loud, because you're talking mentally to the spirit. And it's difficult to actually speak out loud and communicate together. But I like to try, because I don't like that silence. So he's talking to me about something going on. I don't know whether it's a move or a transition, but he's talking about a change in your life, a transition. I'd sort of push more for it being a moving from one place to another, like location, like selling a house or moving. But it feels more like a transition, that there's something that, and I'm not being given the details, just that you understand what I'm talking about a transition. Okay. So he's making me feel that if you have hesitation about this transition, if there's something that you're not quite 100% about, if there's you want to cross the T's and dot the I's before you go ahead with this transition. Do you understand what I'm talking about? Right, because it's important that you're okay in your mind. I sort of feel that he's aware of what's going on, and he supports what's going on, that it's, that there are no wrong decisions because every decision we make is the right decision. Like I was saying before, it's all destiny. And if you're on the wrong path, you'll soon be kick screaming and kicking back onto the right path anyway. So, but he does feel that he's quite supportive of you, and also the object of crossing the T's and dotting the I's. That's a reiteration. That's a make sure. Yeah? All right. And as I said, there are no wrong decisions. So whatever you decide, it's the right thing. Okay? He is such a happy chappy, like he really is. And on that note, I want to leave his love with you. And he has got a bunch of sunflowers for you. So, yes, and he's leaving those with you. And thank you for working with me. Okay, so I don't know what the sunflowers have to do with you, but I'm sure there'll be something come up about it. Mm. Okay, all right, so who's next? Right, I might come back to you because I feel there is something there, but I'm going to go with the lady down the end of the ponytail. What's your name? Dion. Right, okay, Dion. How are you? Bit nervous? Why would you be nervous? Just move your hand away from your mouth so I can see your face. There, that's good. I know it's a bit awkward when you're sitting side on, but you know. All right. So, Dion. Okay, so I'm getting the feeling, and when I talk about seeing or feeling or sensing, I don't actually see three-dimensional. I get more a sense or a feeling in here and in here of what I'm visualizing. So what I've got for you is a I have to say a youngish man. I feel that he is a youngish man, and I feel that he was maybe 5'8", 5'9". I don't feel he was overly tall, and I feel that he has a connection to you, but I don't feel like he's okay. I don't feel like a father or that sort of thing, but I feel could be significant, either a brother or cousin, somebody to the side of you rather than how I describe parents and that are above, others to the side. May have even been somebody, and the name Jack has just been shouted out, but it may be somebody who you knew as you were growing up that you got close to. Do you understand any of what I've told you? Dark hair. Do you understand any of this? Right. Does anyone else understand? And when I say youngish, I'm talking maybe in his 50s. I'm not talking about somebody younger than that, but somebody in around his, or he looks to be or feels to be in his 50s. That would be now. You don't understand any of that? Okay. And nobody else understands. I'm talking about a youngish man who's not very tall. And again, think about somebody you may know who's still here who fits this description, because it may be that once we've got the right connection, they will bring somebody through. So, and I see working in mechanics, I can see some sort of mechanical background, or likes to tinker with bikes and motors. None of that makes sense to you? Anyone else? The name doesn't necessarily mean it's his name. It's usually a name. When I get names, they're like just shouted randomly. It could be anyone around him or around you. So you understand this as a man in his 50s, give or take, not very tall, and not actually necessarily related or closely related to you, and tinkering with metal, yeah. vehicles and bikes and stuff like that. Yeah, I don't know that he was a mechanic, but I feel that he liked to tinker with all of that. I feel that he crossed quite quickly, that there was a bit of an illness, but then it was, rather than a long drawn out, the actual passing was very quick. Yeah, that's how I'm feeling. Okay, I'm getting affirmation for that. And you know, your name, Keith. Right, because I've just had another name like Jeremiah or something, or Jeremy or something like that, a J sounding name. Not James, but like the Jeremiah type. I don't know what that means. Like I say, names are just like the post box, you know. And if you don't know who tonight, it may be a name that comes back to you later on. Okay. So you knew this man growing up, didn't you? Or there was a period of time where you knew him and you were quite close. As when I say quite close, I don't feel that you were related, but that you were good buddies. Does that make sense? Right. I should say now that I look young, I know, but my son is 53 this year. So young people are anyone under 50 now, all right? I'm just telling you that now. So when I say, and I have to say that because otherwise if I'm talking about young people, you might think I'm talking about teenagers, but I'm not. So, and of course, you know, as we get older, our kids are still always our kids, aren't they? And I'm now a great-grandmother to about 7, I think, and another one on the way. So just to give you an idea when I'm talking young and whatever. So, and I do feel that there was a period of time when you were quite good buddies together, and you travelled a bit together or something. There was something you did together. There was, whether, I don't know whether it was sport or there was some reason you were doing things together. Does that make sense to you? Right. So why am I being shown that? Why am I being feeling that it was maybe a holiday that, or something, you had a mutual liking of something.
We had a mutual liking of trains.
And that's travelling. Right. No, thank you. Thank you. I'm actually gonna have that as a. Yeah. Well, I'm going to have that as the wow factor tonight. So thank you very much. Because I don't think we can get much closer than that, can we? Especially as you were talking about it today. And I love that there was communication with him or thoughts of him today, and he is here now with.
Very recent policy.
Right. Even more significant. Okay. So the first thing I'm aware of is that there would be some grief around his passing, obviously, but you don't feel that because you never had issues with him. Do I say that in the right way?
So I feel a little bit sad.
Yes, but there's no angst.
No.
That's what I mean. Yeah, we all suffer grief in different ways, right? And exactly. And that's how I'm sort of feeling that, yes, there's sadness because you will no longer be able to pick up the phone and speak to him or go on train journeys or whatever. But you are very much aware that he is still, it's like going from one room to the next room. So you know that you can communicate with him, which is that there is angst around his family and they don't all have understanding of this process. And this is why he's here now, because not that you can tell his family this, because they might not necessarily understand. No, and they wouldn't necessarily understand anyway. I feel perhaps that he is quite grateful for the friendship that you had with him, like that.
We work colleagues. I was working with him for about don't work for 25 years and not be in a relationship.
I feel that there was. Were you in charge? Were you like in charge of him, or? Because I'm just getting this feeling that he looked up to you. Okay. Well, he wants you to know that he did look up to you. Like, this is something that I'm being made to feel. This is how he felt. Okay. And I'm also being made to feel like, I know you said you don't know his family or anything about his family, but if there was any way that you could give some comfort, there would be some appreciation, but not go outside to do anything, because he has an understanding himself. But he wasn't on the same page as you with this before, no. But he has, of course, that understanding now. Yeah, it's a different thing entirely. And yes, so he has a deep respect for you, and he did look up to you. There were moments, I feel, in your relationship where you would say something and he would like double take, not literally, but it was like, oh wow, that's a brilliant idea, or that's how I'm being felt. Do you understand that? Yeah. Good, excellent. All right. So I'm asking him now, as he's leaving, what sort of gift does he give for you? And because if you're into trains, you know the Flying Scotsman's up at thing. But what he's got is a postcard of the Flying Scotsman for you, okay? And, whether you've got one or not physically, I don't know, but there just might be one appear in front of you coming up in the next few weeks, and that would be an indication that he is there and saying, here I am. So thank you for working with me. All right. Oh, I thought I'd lost it for a minute. Right. Okay. So sat nav went a bit off. Let's go back over here to lady in the pink jumper. Pinkish, yeah. What's your name? Sue. Sue, may I come to you, please? So this is how I was taught to work way back when in Australia. You ask permission and you get a direct link then, because how it works is my team connect with your team that connect with you, and that's how it sort of works, in a roundabout fashion. Right. So I have a lady here, and I do feel that she's very maternal towards you. Now, when I'm talking maternal or paternal, we're talking mother or father. We're talking, could be a grandmother who was very close as you were growing up, but it could also be the next door neighbour who looked after you before and after school while your mum was at work. So somebody who was very close to you and was very maternal towards you. So this is how I'm feeling this lady is. I feel that she was maybe 5'2", 5'3". She wasn't overly tall, but she wasn't like the shortest. I feel that she's showing me the atypical, I suppose, almost woman of the 50s, I think, with the apron in the kitchen with the, what's those oven things called? Yeah, that's it. One of those sort of stoves, that heated the water for the house too. Do you understand who I'm talking about and what I'm talking about? So you have a memory of being in this kitchen with this lady and I feel she was very maternal. Like she was very loving and lots of hugs and lots of good food to eat. Very strict. Not necessarily an iron rod, but still very strict. Do you understand this? Do you understand this to be a mother or somebody like a mother? Right. And you had quite a lot to do with her, I would say up to about 12. Does that make sense? Because that's what number I was given, 12. And she very much wore the apron, didn't she? She's showing me. Now, there's Ina Sharples in Coronation Street, yeah, with the hat, not the hat, the scarf and the curlers. Is that correct? Did she wear the thing? Because that's what I'm being shown now. Okay. Not that I watched Coronation Street. I haven't watched it since we left Australia and left England in 1970. So I watched it up until then. Well, I came back after nearly 40 years and I thought, I don't want to reintroduce something that, but I do remember Ina Sharples from, mopping the steps and stuff like that, I never had a grandmother like that. My grandmother on my dad's side used to play the piano in the pub. That's how my dad learnt to play the piano. So that's what she was like. And my other nan, well, he was a shipwright and she worked in the dockyards in Chatham. So neither one of them were the atypical grannies who worked in the kitchen and cooked and baked and all that sort of stuff. Yes. Excellent. Steak and kidney pudding. Yes. I can almost taste it. So, and also the name Mary is synonymous around. And is it Marge or Marjorie, or there's another M sounding name? Marjoram? I don't know, but it's another M sounding name. Yep. Right. Yeah. So there may even be is it Marjoram is her name? Is it? Right. Okay, so what is she here for? That's the thing. So, okay, so I'm being made aware that somebody quite close around you is having a bit of a health issue at the moment, right? And she's just made me aware. She's not told me what it is or who it is. Just somebody close to you has a health issue that you have concerns about, because that's what she's here about your concerns. Because when I say that they know what's going on in your life, they don't sit and watch you when you go to the toilet, but they are aware of your thoughts and actions and, stuff like that. They are aware of these things. Because it's literally like they're through the wall, So you have concerns about somebody around close to you. And I feel it's somebody who's quite young as well, not younger than you. Remember what I said about the 50 being young, right? So I'm talking about somebody who's around you that has health issues that is younger or quite young. Do you understand that? Okay. Right, don't go telling me whatever. Just, I'm the medium. You don't have to remember, because the thing is that sometimes the best evidence is when you go home and go, oh, now I know what Sherry was talking about. And it sometimes happens the minute you walk out the door. Yeah. So I'm not concerned if you don't actually know what I'm talking about now, because 9 times out of 10, you will when you go home and you'll go, oh, now I know what she was talking about. So, yeah. But so somebody who is younger than you have concerns about their health. And I do feel that whilst those concerns are genuine, that they're not necessary. Does that make sense? That you could perhaps Oh, okay. So what I'm being made aware of is that sometimes by our own thoughts, we can make things happen. And sometimes by thinking the worst, it brings about the worst. So it's about changing your thought patterns and being more positive about the outcome. Any outcome will actually improve the situation. Now, I'm not sure if that's, and look, okay, I'm going to say it. We're a nice small circle. Everyone knows everyone else. So I'm going to say this because, and I'm not necessarily saying that somebody is going to cross or pass, but we know that when they do pass, that there is more life and it doesn't finish, and that the timing is everything. But to be positive about who and how they are whilst they're alive is perhaps more important than worrying about them crossing. One thing I do say, and I say this to everyone all the time, is make sure that you have got your T's crossed and your I's dotted. So, and that means doing your power of attorney, making sure that you have a will, making sure that you've planned your exit, because we all have an exit. When I was in Australia last year, I took over this book that I got. It was actually via Facebook. I think Facebook read our minds, don't it? Does, doesn't it? You can think it, and the next thing it comes up on your page, and you're like, how did it know that? But I was thinking about all this stuff, and this book came up and says, what to do now you're dead. And I was thinking, brilliant. So I bought the book, and I transcribed information from that into exercise books, and I gave one exercise book to each of my kids. And it's information like who to ring in what order. Do I want to be buried or cremated? Well, actually, we're going to both leave our bodies to science if there's anything left that's good, because you don't have to pay for a funeral then. Yeah, that's exactly right. And so, but this book talks about all these and has a whole plethora of information about what to do and how to go about doing it. And I think everybody should have one of these. So I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about somebody around you that may not have. And this is where I'm being compelled to say to you to make sure that they do before it happens. Because once it happens and the proverbial hits the fan and the family's left with the mess, the fallout, you know, it can be worse. It makes the suffering worse, the grief worse when you've got to deal with all of that. So just a thought there. And you must have something, some piece of jewellery or something that belonged to your grandmother. There must be something around somewhere. She's just telling me about you having, or maybe it's a hanky or something. I don't know. You've got something, like something that you can actually smell or hang on to. Well, I just feel that she's showing me something, and it does feel like could be a hanky or, yeah, the first thing she showed me actually was a nightie, and I thought, no, that's a bit random because you wouldn't want a nightie that belonged to your granny. Of course, unless it was an old cotton one. Well, there you go. See, it is possible. It is possible. But I have a nightie that belonged to my mum.
I've got my nan's one. To be fair, it is stuffed inside of like a cuddly toy type thing. But yeah, I do.
Yeah. So it is possible, not improbable. But I just feel that there is something that you have. And I feel that, okay, so she's making me, so when I ask for a gift for it, you know, from her to you, and she's making me aware of this thing. It's a tactile fabric. You will know it when you find it. And I almost feel like she wants you to smell it, because there will be some remnant of her. Even though it's been a long time, there will be some remnant. You understand? Okay, so I will leave her love with you. How long have I got? Okay.
We normally go to about 9:30, so it's like you can crack on.
Okay, good. I'll just...
Free range.
Okay, good. Because I have been known to talk forever. So now, your name? Cheryl, may I come to you, please? Cheryl. Who have I got for you? I don't know what that is. Something dead on the floor I've stood on.
As long as that's not coming through, it's fine.
I just moved my foot and thought, did I just stand on that? That's something. Anyway, Cheryl, so who have I got for you? I feel like I've got a very masculine energy here with me, and I do feel that he does feel quite paternal towards you. So it could be a father or... All right, can I describe this gentleman? Because it may not be Dad, all right? So he's shown... Okay, so I don't feel that he was very tall. Maybe he was 5'8", 5'9", something like that. He was quite a short bloke, but I feel that he carried a bit of extra weight too. So he was short, not short and round, but rounder and short. Sorry? Okay, good. And I do. There's the first name that I've got is like Bob or Bobby or Robert, a name that can be abbreviated like that. And as I said, this gentleman feels like he's a bit paternal towards you. So he feels like he could have been a father, father-in-law, stepfather, or just the husband of somebody who helped raise you. He does feel paternal. So he wants to look after you, if that makes sense. That's how he's making me feel paternal. So he was not very tall, and he was big, and I do feel that he's got this great big smile on his face that I'm just trying to get a sense of whether he always had that smile on his face or whether it's because he's there now. And I don't feel necessarily that he always had a smile on his face. But I do feel that there were moments in his life. He had one of those types of humour that not everyone understood. Not slapstick humour. I think it was quite intelligent. And what's that word? Satirical? That sort of thing. That's how he's making me feel. And not everyone understood him, but he understood so much more than anybody ever realised. So one of the types that would sit in the corners, did he smoke a pipe? Smoke in a pipe? Or did he? Okay, so I've just got the feeling there was something there that he would, if he didn't smoke it, he would like hold it. Something there. I don't see a cigarette. I see, maybe this. But sit in the corner and not say or do anything, just observe. So who are we with? Right. You had a good relationship with him. Obviously, you didn't have a good relationship with your dad. Hence, they don't want to speak to him. But you had a good relationship. And I think, I get that feeling that he had a good relationship with you as well. And there was this sort of like mutual respect, a mutual time. When I say time, it's not that you spent a lot of time with him, but you had you gave each other space. How does that sound? That's how it's making me feel. So, of course, now the reason is, why is he here? What's he doing? Why has he come to give you extra support, extra guidance, extra love? Right. Okay. You have children? 3 or 4? Right, because I've just been told 3 or 4. So 2 here and 1, possibly 2 in spirit. 1 that you know about, 1 that was a possibility. Does that make sense? Yeah. Right. Okay. So I'm just going to concern myself with the 2 that are here. Okay. And that would be 1 of each. Or if it's 2 boys, there's 1 that's very effeminate. If there's 2 girls, there's 1 that's very masculine. Because I'm feeling very much that it's, yeah, but 1 is very masculine. You understand this? I know that because I gave birth to 4, and when I had Jamie, I couldn't drink coffee. When I had Helen and Tori, I couldn't drink tea. And then I was pregnant with Charlie, and I couldn't drink tea and coffee. And I'm thinking, oh, I'm having an it. Yep. And seriously, she grows a beard. Like, she is very masculine. That's polycystic ovarian syndrome. So I understand, because I have a daughter that is very masculine, and people think I have 2 and 2, but I have 1 boy and 3 girls, although, like I say. So I understand. Having said that, I understand there are issues around the girl who is quite masculine. There is something going on in her life that's giving you cause for concern. All right. And that's why your father-in-law is here now, because he wants you to be, okay, so, I do like it when they download all that information at once. It doesn't matter. They know what's going on. So everything at once is, first of all, he wants you to be aware that you cannot change anything, and it's not your role to. That's the first thing he wants you to be aware of. You can only be there to support the outcome of whatever it is that's going on, and that you are to, take that step back as much as you don't want to, because it's very upsetting as a mother to see our children go through a situation that we know could have been avoided, but it's a matter of the children are not ours, they're only on loan to us, and we have to let them go and do their own thing, as hard as it is. And so that's the first thing he says. The second thing that he's making me feel is that he is aware of the situation. The whole family is aware of the situation, and she is getting support from their aspect of things. She may not be aware of it, she may be aware of it, but she is getting the support that she needs for this journey that she's on, that she's, and whatever the outcome from her journey, all she needs from you is the support and love that you could give as her mother. And that is how he's feeling, because it's very much, she is his granddaughter. So she's very much a part of him, and he wants to protect her as well. So this is where he's making me feel that he's come in, he's watching the situation, he's aware of it, and he's giving his support in whatever way he can, or they can. Because there's more than one there. I've got an image of bit of a lineup of family, sort of saying, just hang in there, Cheryl. We're here. We're the posse, you know, coming through to save the day. Not save the day, but yeah. Okay. Well, that's a bit interesting. So I've said, so what sort of a gift do we give you for, you know, and I don't know what the significance is, but it's a key. No, I'm not getting it's a new house. It might be something to do with a car. I don't know. I'm just being given a key for you. So take the key and then you can always let us know down the track what it actually signifies. Because, yeah, they're often random things, aren't they? And thank you for working with me. All right. So we'll go back over this side and see what we've got. So it's a toss-up. Lady in green, what's your name? Alison. Right, Alison, what have we got for you? So you've got a few over the other side as well, haven't you? Just one or two. Right. I'm not getting a good, clear image. I'm sort of feeling it's somebody who is, I feel I've got somebody who's quite young, 20s, 30s, something like that. I feel that they were related to you in some way, and I feel that this happened quite a while ago, that there was, it may have been an illness that was undetected for quite some time, and then there was a crossing. Do you understand any of that information? Right, but you were quite close to the person. So if you said this was, if you had like a sister, that you would call upon her. And I say this because my best friend passed away 20 odd years ago, and I was more traumatized by her passing than even my own mother's, because she was my best friend. And I'm feeling that, and I never had a sister anyway, I just had 5 brothers. So although my first husband was probably more a girl than a boy. I tell everyone that, even his kids, you know. But I do feel that she was quite close to you. You understand? Okay. I feel that she's showing me that actually the two of you looked quite similar, I feel. There was a similarity between you that people often mistook you for sisters, because she's showing me sort of looking a bit like you. I do feel that her hair was a bit more curly, and if it wasn't more curly, she would curl it. You understand this? Okay. And about the same height as you as well. Now there's a name you don't hear very often. Penny, Penelope, something like that. Around, just a name that's been thrown out. Sorry? Yeah, you understand that? Yep. Right. So you understand who it is. Let's find out why she's here. So I'm being shown pictures of snowy Alps. Does that mean anything to you? You haven't been on a travel trip skiing, snowy Alps? Okay, I'll take that as a yes. Okay, so because she's shown me this picture or image of snowy Alps and a trip or something, she's talking about going somewhere else. So are you planning another trip somewhere else? Oh, okay. I feel that this is planned more towards don't go to Spain, don't go to Greece, don't go to Turkey because they've got all those earthquakes at the moment. But I do feel that there is something planned more towards a warmer climate, and that you are in the process of planning. You're looking at brochures and talking about finances and how you're going to do this. Right. So as I said, I'm being made very aware that she's aware of all this too, you see. Otherwise I wouldn't know. But I am telling you, don't go to Greece, Turkey, because they've got all these earthquakes going on. There's been like 1,200 since the beginning of January in this little island between Greece and Turkey. Yeah. So anyone who's planning on going overseas, just think twice, you know. They're looking for a big eruption. It may not happen, but you never know, do you? I want you to be aware, I feel, with this lady that, sorry, and I say she was a lady because she was probably quite refined in her own way. Does that make sense to you? But I'm seeing her sipping out of a martini glass, like cocktails and stuff like that. And if she didn't do that, then this is what I'm seeing for you. This is something that is being planned and she's very much aware of. So I just want to throw that in the mix. So when you end up on your holiday and sitting round a bar sipping from a cocktail, you know, the martini glass, you know, those one, or the gin glasses as they're called now, I don't know, because I don't drink, but whatever they are, remember her and remember this, because it's a message of love from her. She doesn't miss you because she's with you, and she wants you to know that too. All right? And I don't know if you eat olives or not, but there's an olive in the glass as well, and that's her gift for you, and I will leave her love with you. And thank you, thank you, thank you. Done. Everyone happy? Good.
I was doing it while you were there as well.
How's your brain fart going?
I feel like my brain sharp, honestly.
No worries.
So I think trying to shut his pants. But it's like, I can do it.
Okay. Dear Father God, we give thanks and pray. May we be content with ourselves just as we are, and let this knowledge settle in our bones and allow our soul the freedom to sing, to dance, to praise, and to love. We are souls experiencing life as humans. The purpose of our existence is to be all that is, to learn and grow, retaining the God aspect of you. May we ask for compassion, friendship, health and happiness, to be safe from harm, free from pain and suffering. And we ask this for ourselves as well as all living beings. We accept love and allow it to be a beacon and the guiding light shining its radiance to all. We humbly ask for healing energies to be given to all, shared amongst those in need, including, of course, all the animal kingdom. Amen.
Sure.